Welcome to Full Frontal Fatherhood. My name is Julian Redwood. Today I'd like to talk to you about men and our sexuality. There's so many crazy ideas out there about who we're supposed to be as men and how we're supposed to be in bed. And at the same time, there's an amazing number of us that are really suffering when it comes to having sex. We're suffering because we can't get it up, or we come too soon, or we're not enjoying ourselves, or we're not enjoying the woman, or we're feeling not attracted to her. There's a variety of things that come up for men, and we think so often that there's something wrong with us that we're having these things happen. We think perhaps we need to take Viagra to compensate, but the reality is that there's usually emotional things that are happening for a man that are causing these things to happen. And if you can address those emotional realities, things can change and you can return to really enjoying sex. If you're like me, you were taught that real men want to have sex most all the time, that we can get hard and stay hard whenever we need to, that we don't come real quickly, and that we don't have insecurities about what's happening for us in the bed, but we can just take a woman whenever we want. If you're a woman, you learn that if a man loses his erection, it's because he's not attracted to you. All of these things are not true, and they lead to a lot of suffering for all of us. So I want to give you two things that you can do to own your experience and not have it dominate your ability to really enjoy yourself in bed. The first thing is to come to know what it is that's happening for you. Take the space to think about, why are you getting triggered? What's happening in that moment that you're not getting an erection? Think about that moment when you're with your partner. Are you feeling not attracted in some way? Are you feeling insecure in some way? Are you worried you got too much of a belly, that your penis is a little too small? Does your partner coming on too strong and not giving you space to get in touch with your own sexual desire? Do you feel inadequate in some other way? Do you feel like your partner has all the strength in the relationship? Think about the variety of things that might be causing you to feel weak and inadequate in that moment and not feeling like a good, powerful man that wants to make love to his partner. Think about what's going on for you, but if you need help, you can start with a journal. Just writing it down often really helps the thoughts flow out. If you have a friend with whom you feel safe, obviously go and talk to them. Find out what their experience is like. It helps so much for us to explore what's happening for ourselves with another person. This is where a therapist really comes in, and obviously they often have a lot of experience about what comes up for men in those moments, and thus can help follow that path to what's really going on for you. Ideally, you can use your partner for this exploration, but usually the insecurities that are preventing us from getting an erection that moment or coming too soon will also prevent us from being honest with our partner. Whatever the secret is, we have to start by telling it to ourselves. Once we know it, we can go to the much harder step of sharing it with our partner. If we're feeling insecure or somehow emotionally distraught in that moment, there's very little chance of getting over that if we don't go to our partner and share it. I can't tell you how many men that I've guided through this process, and it is a scary one. It is really terrifying, as I talked about, to bring that insecurity to your partner. But if you can create the space with them to share that part of you, it will change everything. We think so often as men that we need to be that studly man who gets the big erection and provides for them. But the reality is that most women don't need that from us, and they have a lot of ability to be with us and our insecurities. We think we can't be that insecure little boy part of us with them, and that they don't want that they find it disgusting. We as men reject our own weaknesses so much of the time, and we think that women do too. But the reality is, if you share it with your partner, the good chance is that they're going to love you even more, and that they will understand that, because we all have that as humans. We all have a part of us that feels insecure and little and worried that we're not good enough. If we have the power and the courage in ourselves to share that with our partner, it creates a deep sense of intimacy, and with that comes a sense of trust. And then when you're in bed making love to your partner, you're not scared about that insecurity coming up. You can even share it in the moment. You say, oh, I'm starting to get scared and worried I'm not going to be able to get it up for you again. And you can feel her love and reassurance there with you in a way that can allow you to feel that much more comfortable. You know, when you see a person who's giving a public speaking appearance and they're all scared and they're trembling and they're trying not to be scared, and they're getting worse and worse and it's more and more noticeable, that person is denying their insecurity and their nervousness, and therefore it gets stronger. But you see another person who gets up there, they're obviously nervous, but they say it. They said, wow, I'm really nervous. This is a scary thing talking to all of you. They acknowledge their fear and they quickly move past it. They quickly move into what they're doing and forgetting about that nervousness because they haven't denied it. When we try not to feel scared, we feel really scared. When we try not to lose our erection, we lose our erection. when we don't worry so much about whether or not we have an erection or not. We know we're going to get it, and if it may take some time, it will come. But we have to presence that emotional reality that's happening for us. And maybe the thing that you need to share with your partner isn't just about your insecurities. Maybe it's also something about what they're doing that you feel scared to tell them. And this is a hard situation. So I want to give you one thing that you can do in this moment to share with your partner. So if you're like most of us and you feel really scared to share whatever's going on for you with your partner, go to them and ask to be listened to. Ask them for the space. Ask them to be quiet and just be there and listen to you. Tell them you have something you want to work out and you'd like their attention, and just have them look at you with their mouth shut while you get it out. By enlisting their attention and their support in that way, they'll be able to hear you in a different way than had you just caught them at the dinner table. Then, once they're listening, go ahead and share what's going on for you. It is terrifying, obviously, to share these kind of things, whether or not it's your insecurity about being enough of a man for them, or whether or not it's something about them you're not attracted to. But the reality is that they probably feel it already, and by talking about it, it'll be relieving to both of you. Once again, I can't tell you how many couples I've helped work through this situation by supporting them to have that kind of honesty. It's greatly relieving to the situation just to be able to talk about it. Whatever the thing is, when it can become something that has dialogue around it, it can be worked through and even laughed about. The heaviness of it gets lost, and it's no longer such a fixture within the relationship. But this is scary. Give yourself the space to really talk. Feel how terrifying that is. What takes real strength in life is not being a big tough guy. It's showing your vulnerability and showing your weakness. That's what takes real strength. This is terrifying, but the other option is to live behind a veil, never really telling the person with whom you are closest what's happening for you, and living a life that is something of a lie where you don't get really to be known. Real honesty leads to profound lovemaking. When you can really be comfortable in yourself and your partner knows everything about you and you know everything about them, there's a sense of safety and connection that leads to profound lovemaking and a deep sense of satisfaction. But it takes facing this terror and engaging your partner with your deepest insecurities and doubts. Sexual dysfunctions are a horrific experience that obviously take one of life's greatest joys out of the mix. And yes, Viagra or even alcohol and other drugs can help you bypass some of your emotional needs. But my experience shows that you don't actually enjoy sex when you're using those things in order to compensate. So do these two things. Get in touch with what's happening for you emotionally and take the courage to share it with your partner. Come to know that part of you and let the person you're with know that part of you. And you can get to the other side where you can really enjoy lovemaking. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Full Frontal Fatherhood. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Please join the conversation below, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Full Frontal Fatherhood. Take care.